Hey guys, Jason CV Customs. We do things a little differently today. I'm waiting on a bunch of parts for the KB, so we're just gonna take a look at the next project. We'll flip the camera around and walk you around it. This is a 75 International, 4-wheel drive, missing some parts, but we're gonna try and save it. I'll walk you around it and show you what we got. Okay, so I got this truck through a few trades, and you can see it's from South Dakota. Missing an engine. But I was told the transmission was just rebuilt. We'll find out when we get there. It looks like somebody did do some work painting the frame red. The fender walls, or fender wells, excuse me, I've never seen them that square. These might be reproduction fender wells. I don't know, inner fender wells. But the thing is, we're not going to use them. I'll show you why. It's a South Dakota truck, so you can only imagine what we're going to find here, right? Both of the corners look like this. That's pretty bad. When we open the door here, you can see that's pretty bad. Also pretty bad. I got underneath, and the floorboards are also pretty shot. You can see through it in a lot of places. Down here is even worse. You can see see how it kind of slopes down. That's, yeah, that's bad too. So, now the nice thing about this is, I actually have another 75. Good cab. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the 4-wheel drive, but we're going to replace the cab. So just like I do on all my projects, first thing I'm going to do is get it down to the frame. I'm going to sandblast. I'm going to cut off all of this stuff they welded on the back end. I really don't like it when people weld on frames. So I'm going to cut all that off. We're going to get it all cleaned up. And from there, I already built an engine for my 75. I've got a 1-ton that I put a 12-valve Cummins in. I built a 345 for it and then decided to put a 12-valve in it. So for the last 3 years, I've had a brand new, fresh 345 International sitting in the shop. You can see, look at all this clearance. I'm thinking we can put 33-inch tires on it without lifting it at all. Just make it look clean. But I'm kind of got a thing for these square body Internationals, so that's why I keep building them. They keep falling in my lap. So I'm gonna get it in the shop, you guys. We're gonna get this cab off because, like I said, it's pretty much toast. The fenders, the fenders are pretty straight, but you look in here, there's no telling what we're going to find when we take it off. Any of the supports, and you guys saw the last 75 I took apart. It was pretty rough. So we'll see what we find, but we'll get this thing apart, and then we'll get on the frame. All right, so we got the front clip off. I went ahead and cut all the stuff that was welded on the back end. So now we've got a frame that's ready for prep as far as the back end goes. Still got to get the cab off. But before I take the cab off, I wanted to show you guys what we found when we took the front clip off, which is pretty much exactly what we expected. It's all canceled out. There's supposed to be a bracket right there. You can see somebody removed it, and somebody did put some kind of aftermarket fender flares on, or fender wells, sorry, inner fender wells, because that's welded angle iron and it does not belong there. You can see the cancer's pretty good, a little dark in there, but I guess the camera picks it up pretty good. They did do some work on the front end. I mean, they took the front clip off to paint it, you can see that, but then they just kind of covered all this up. See how bad it got on this side. Remember, we were looking at that hole on the mat. You can see there's no metal there yet. That's rubber coming right through. So, yep. As far as a California truck goes, I know some of you guys back east might try to save something like this, but in California, we just find another part. This is it's a little too far gone for us. And it's not because we're lazy, but it's just because we've got more donors out there that can fit the bill, and it's, you know, it's a lot better for the restoration of this truck to do it that way. So I'm going to get this cab off, and then I'll show you the frame before we go get it prepped for sandblasting. So get back to you. All right, about ready to pull the cab. I want to show you just how bad this was. You can see that's the cab bolt. Well, cab mount bolt. There's not a whole lot holding that thing on there anymore. So, yeah, I think we're just going to cut these bolts off. But that's how bad it was. And then I also saw right here, look at how much is gone. Then I also saw that cross member that's actually on the frame. That's part of the frame, which is weird. It's the worst part of the frame. The frame actually looks solid except for those cross members. But our donor vehicle with the other cab has those new cross members. So we'll just take and bolt that on. No big deal. All right, guys. I'm going to get this cab off. We'll be ready for sandblast. Okay, we're coming to the end of the day. Day one. This is how it sets. You can see all that paint we saw on the front of the frame was seriously just the front of the frame. They didn't really do a whole lot. What we have left before we get to the sandblaster, we're going to get the transmission out, pull the transfer case out. And that transfer case, I don't know if you guys see that. If you guys are international guys, you probably already know. Internationals use the Dana 202 instead of the 205, which is a lot stronger. The ratios are similar, if not the same, but the gears are actually wider, and I don't know, International just overbuilt everything. So I'm actually probably going to pull the exhaust out as well before we sandblast. So we'll get the exhaust tubes out. At this point, we're going to go ahead and take the drive lines out because we're taking the transfer case out. So get all three drive lines out, pull the transmission off. Transmission doesn't look too old. It looks like it's got fresh paint. Now they said it had a rebuild. Looks like it's been ran on a rebuild. Not 100% sure about that. The frame looks solid, except for this cross member. If you told me this cross member didn't belong on this frame, I would 100% believe you. I don't exactly know what happened there. Now the fuel tank does set right behind it. You know, the fender well sets on this side. So I'm guessing this thing was just caked in with mud, snow, salt. It was from South Dakota, so that makes sense. But past that, the frame is solid. It is a power steering setup, disc brakes, and, you know, power brakes, and everything to make it a nice truck. But that's how we're going to end day one because it's late and I'm tired. So on day two, I think we'll get the sandblasting done. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, so a couple of things that I wanted to show you. Number one, see the intake manifold, or I mean the valve covers, I'm sorry. I had these laser cut. They fit right over the emboss. They fit pretty perfect. We're going to do some epoxy to set them, and that's going to look pretty good. It's all stainless on top, so that's going to look sharp. Now the intake manifold, I got this off of an RV, an international RV. So it's non-EGR, you don't have any of that crap in the back. It's really a high flow 4-barrel intake manifold. I'm pretty excited about that. We put Petronics in an old points distributor, so that's also not traditional for a 75. This came on like a 71, I think, because it had points. In 75, they had like their version of electronic controlled. It's, you know, it's a little different, but that's the engine. Got it looking pretty good. This is what I plan to put in the truck. However, this truck is 100% for sale. I'm putting it together to sell. So if anybody out there wanted to buy it and they wanted something silly like a 350 or something, I'd do it. But I think I'm more a fan of putting the International in it. But, you know, if somebody wants to pay for it, I'll put the 350 in it. I actually have plenty of 350s with turbo 350s, turbo 400s. I don't think I have a 700 R4 right now to give the overdrive. That's just our 727, which these things are insane anyways. They'll work good. This is going to be a good build. Hopefully whoever does want it wants the 345. If not, and I don't have it sold before I finish it, I'm just going to put the 345 in it because that's what I like. So I just want to give you guys a look at what we already got for it. Already built, ready to roll. Just a matter of getting it in there. So getting excited about sandblasting this and getting it where we want. I just want to show you guys the engine. Anyways, leave a comment for me if you guys got any input. I'm more than interested in listening to you guys.